So the insanity continues. Today, Carney announces $100 million for Indian students to come and study in our country. I don't understand. Carney goes to India. He gets another MOU, a $5 billion trade agreement that benefits nobody here in Canada. And then at the same time, we realize that that's basically a day of trade with the US. So completely meaningless, but also we're going to give $100 million of taxpayer money to Indian students. That's insanely racist, first of all, but DEI and all that stuff. $100 million, not to Canadian youth that's struggling, not to, kids that have just graduated that have absolutely no chance of getting ahead or buying a car or actually paying for tuition and rent and whatever else. We could literally give 10,000 Canadian youth $10,000 with that. That's life-changing money. But we're going to give it to Indian immigrants that want to come and study here. Make it make sense, because this is literal theft. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Any cent more than we budget for, tax dollars, that don't go to Canadians or the Canadian people or benefit us in any way should be returned, or it's theft. Why are we spending billions of dollars overseas? Make this make sense. And how does giving Indian people $100 million of our money help us? I don't understand. So again, it's another day. It's another 100, 200 million, billion dollars, just poof, gone. Somebody, an accountant, I want them to help me understand here, because I want to understand the budget here of the Canadian government. If the average Canadian makes, what is it? I think 53,000 Canadian dollars a year. Okay? I want to put that into perspective of how much debt that would mean that I would be in. If I had the debt that the Canadian government had, $1.4 trillion or something, and we spend, whatever it is, $600 billion a year, what's the equivalent of me having debt? Like if I was managing my house like the government manages theirs, what does that look like? How does this make any sense when we're paying so much interest on debt? Billions of dollars a week. We could literally build hospitals, like multiple hospitals a week, with the amount of money we squander on interest while giving billions of dollars away. We have given almost $100 billion away in the last decade. It's not comprehensible how much waste, how much lack of accountability and transparency. We have no idea where this money went or how it's being spent. We get a press conference and a bill. This is literal theft with no accountability. I myself have literally had enough. So again, I think as a country we need to come together and just stop paying taxes en masse. That's the only way that this is going to get ahead, because we are being stolen from every single day. Our money is being flushed down the toilet. If you look at what they're spending their money on in these insane things, I'll drop a link so you can see some of these government programs, these 10 billion in overseas gender studies. Like, we're off the rails. So, I for one am sick of it. Imagine what $100 million could do in your neighborhood. How many lives that could change, how many people that could feed, how many food banks we could stock completely full for years. But no, we're going to, this time, we're gonna fund Indian students. They have over 1 billion people in their country. We have 40 million. Why is this tiny little population funding the entire world? It makes no sense. And to make it even worse, we got 44 million people? Think about how many of those people are actual taxpayers. Like a small percent. I think it's like 20 or 30 or 40% of these people. So like 6 million Canadians are paying most of the tax dollars. So we'll call it 10 million people are paying the majority of the tax, and we're sending an insane amount overseas. Like this is insane, because in any other world other than politics, does this make sense? Are you allowed to squander and spend to such insanity that like it doesn't make sense anymore. And then we hire a guy, the PBO, to say like, okay, well let's get an idea about how bad this is or how good this is. And he basically he's fired for telling the truth because it's so bad that it says it's like stupefying and like we're at an economic cliff, and if we don't stop now, like no, we're off the cliff. Like look around. Everything is collapsing in front of us, and we're just going to continue to squander and spend more money. Like, when does the insanity stop? And who voted for this? Who votes for this? BC just gave away their land rights quietly on a Friday night. David Eby said he had no idea, but turns out he was at the signing ceremony. What is going on? We have zero accountability. These guys can lie and steal, and they get to just be paid hundreds of thousands of dollars with no accountability. Like, this country makes no sense. So, I mean, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Every day I wake up, I see another headline, and I think we're at that breaking point where people say we're at the end of the Rome. You know, Rome's collapsing, and we're just like, oh, let's watch a fucking football game. But I don't know, dude. Here we are. This is my rant for the day, and just another $100 million squandered for nothing in a racist way, where we could have put this money to use in a much better way. I hope you guys are waking up. I sure am. Eyes are wide open, and I've had enough.